I was standing in my own kitchen when my son-in-law threw hot coffee in my face. Not warm, hot, the kind that burns. I felt it splash across my cheek, my jaw dripping down onto my shirt. For a second, I couldn't even process what had happened. My skin was screaming, my eyes were watering, and all I could hear was silence. He didn't apologize. He didn't even flinch. He just stood there, staring at me with this look, like I was nothing, like I deserved it. And my daughter, my own daughter, the girl I raised, the one I sacrificed everything for. She stood next to him, arms crossed, silent. That silence hurt more than the coffee ever could. I'm not going to lie to you. In that moment, standing there with my face burning and my heart breaking, I didn't know what to do. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even move for a few seconds. I just stood there, looking at the two of them, trying to understand how we got here. How did the man I welcomed into my family, the man I trusted with my daughter's happiness, become someone who could do this to me? Let me back up. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what happened and why it happened and what I did about it. Because this isn't just a story about disrespect. It's about what happens when you stay quiet for too long and what happens when you finally decide you've had enough. 3 years ago, my daughter Emma met Derek at her office. She was a junior accountant. He was in sales. She came home one day glowing, talking about this charming guy who made her laugh, who noticed her, who made her feel seen. As a father, you want that for your child. You want them to find someone who loves them the way they deserve. So when she brought him home for dinner, I was ready to like him. And I did, at first. Derek was polished, confident. He had that salesman energy, you know? The kind that fills a room. He complimented my wife's cooking, asked me about my work, talked about his goals. He said all the right things. My wife and I exchanged a look across the table that night, the kind of look parents share when they think, okay, maybe this one's different. Emma had been through a rough breakup the year before. Some guy who didn't appreciate her, who took her for granted. Seeing her happy again, seeing her smile like that, it was everything. Derek proposed after 8 months. Fast, I thought. But Emma was over the moon, and who was I to stand in the way of her happiness? They got married a year later. Small ceremony, nothing fancy. I paid for most of it. Derek's family didn't contribute much, said they were going through some financial troubles. I didn't mind. Emma was my only child. I wanted her day to be perfect, and it was. She looked beautiful. Derek looked proud. I gave a speech at the reception about love, about partnership, about building a life together. I meant every word. I shook Derek's hand that night and told him, "Take care of her. She's everything to me." He smiled and said, "I will. I promise." I believed him. The first year of their marriage seemed fine. They moved into a small apartment across town. We'd see them for Sunday dinners, holidays, the usual. Derek was still charming, still polite. But I started noticing small things. The way he'd cut Emma off mid-sentence. The way he'd check his phone constantly when she was talking. The way he'd make little jokes at her expense, then laugh like it was nothing. "Emma's always been a bit scatterbrained," he'd say with a grin, and she'd laugh along. But I could see something flicker in her eyes. Something that looked like hurt. I didn't say anything. I told myself it was just their dynamic. Every couple has their quirks, right? I didn't want to be that father-in-law who interfered, who caused problems. So I stayed quiet. Then Derek lost his job. Emma called me one evening, voice tight with stress. The company had downsized. Derek was let go. They were going to struggle with rent, with bills. She didn't ask for help directly, but I could hear it in her voice. So I offered. I told them they could move in with us temporarily, just until Derek found something new. My wife and I had space. Our home was paid off. We were comfortable. It made sense. They moved in 2 weeks later. Derek promised it would only be a few months. That was a year and a half ago. At first, it was manageable. Derek was actively job hunting, going to interviews, staying busy. Emma was working full-time, contributing to groceries, helping around the house. My wife and I didn't mind. Family helps family. But slowly, things changed. Derek stopped going to interviews as often. He'd sleep in late, spend hours on his phone, complain about how the job market was impossible, how no one appreciated his skills. When I'd gently suggest opportunities I'd heard about, he'd have an excuse. The pay was too low. The commute was too far. It wasn't the right fit. Emma started working longer hours, picking up extra shifts. I'd see her come home exhausted, and Derek would be on the couch watching TV. He stopped helping around the house. My wife would cook dinner every night, and Derek would eat without a thank you, then leave his plate on the table for someone else to clean. He'd use our car without asking, come back with the tank empty. He'd invite his friends over, loud and late, like it was his house. And when I'd try to talk to Emma about it, privately, gently, she'd defend him. He's going through a tough time, Dad. He just needs to find the right opportunity. He's stressed. Cut him some slack. I didn't want to push. I didn't want to be the reason my daughter felt torn. So I kept my mouth shut and hoped things would improve. They didn't. Derek started getting hostile. If my wife asked him to help with something small, like taking out the trash, he'd snap at her. I'm not your servant. If I suggested he apply somewhere, he'd get defensive. You don't think I'm trying? You think I want to be here? Yes, I'd think. It seems like you're perfectly comfortable here. But I didn't say it. And Emma just got quieter. She stopped laughing as much, stopped talking about her day. She'd come home, eat dinner in silence, and disappear into their room. I could see her shrinking, and it killed me. My wife would cry at night, quietly, when she thought I was asleep. I don't understand, she'd whisper. Why is she letting him treat us like this? I didn't have an answer. The incident that led to the coffee happened on a Tuesday morning. I'd been up early like always, made coffee, read the news, got ready for my day. I'm semi-retired now, do some consulting work from home, so my mornings are peaceful, quiet. Derek came into the kitchen around 10, hair messy, still in pajamas, phone in hand. He opened the fridge, stared at it for a minute, then slammed it shut. There's nothing to eat in this house, he muttered. I looked up from my paper. There's eggs, bread, fruit. Your wife went shopping yesterday? He scoffed. I'm not making eggs. I wanted cereal. We're out of the kind you like. I can pick some up later. He glared at me. Why didn't you get it yesterday? I took a breath. Because I didn't know you wanted it. Of course I want it. I eat it every morning. Then maybe you could add it to the list, I said, keeping my voice even. Or pick some up yourself when you're out. His jaw tightened. I don't have money for groceries. You know that. I give you and Emma money for groceries every month. That's Emma's money. It's for both of you. He stepped closer, and I could see the anger building in his face. You know what your problem is? You think because you own this house, you can control everything? You think you can tell me what to do? I set my paper down. Derek, I'm not trying to control you. I'm just saying if you need something, communicate. We're all living here together. Yeah, and I hate it, he said, voice rising. You think I want to be here? Living under your roof, listening to your little comments, your judgments? I've never judged you. Bull, you judge me every single day. I see it in your face. I stood up slowly. My heart was pounding, but I kept my voice calm. If you're unhappy here, you're free to leave. But while you're in my home, I expect basic respect. Before you go, let me just say, if this story is hitting close to home, or if you're just curious where this is going, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe. I know everyone says that, but honestly, it helps me keep sharing these stories. Plus, I promise the best part is still coming. And hey, if you stick around till the end, you'll find out exactly what that phone call was about. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. All right, back to that kitchen. Derek laughed, a cold, bitter laugh. Respect? You want respect? How about you respect that I'm your daughter's husband? How about you respect that I'm a man, not some kid you can lecture? I'm not lecturing you, I'm asking you to be considerate. Considerate? He was shouting now. I'm considerate. I'm always considerate. You're the one who makes everything difficult. I heard footsteps. My wife appeared in the doorway, worry on her face. What's going on? Nothing, I said quickly. We're just talking. He's accusing me of being disrespectful, Derek said, turning to her, playing victim. In my own home. It's not your home, my wife said quietly. It's ours, and we've welcomed you here. Derek's face went red. Oh, here we go. Both of you teaming up on me. This is what you do, isn't it? Make me feel like garbage. No one's making you feel like anything, I said. But you can't yell at my wife. I'll talk however I want. Not in my house, you won't. And that's when he picked up the coffee mug. My mug. The one I'd been drinking from. He held it for a second, staring at me with pure rage, and I thought he was going to throw it at the wall. But he didn't. He threw it at me. The coffee hit my face like a slap of fire. I gasped, stumbled back, hands going to my face instinctively. My wife screamed. I heard the mug shatter on the floor. Through the pain and the shock, I looked up and saw Derek standing there, chest heaving, fists clenched. And then Emma walked in. She took in the scene, me dripping with coffee, skin red and burning, her mother shaking, hand over her mouth, Derek standing there like a cornered animal. What happened? Emma's voice was small. Your father provoked me, Derek said immediately. I stared at him. Provoked. My wife found her voice. He threw hot coffee at your father's face, Emma. Hot coffee. Emma looked at me. I waited for her to react, to be horrified, to rush over and check if I was okay. She hesitated. Derek, why would you? Because he's been pushing me for months. Derek cut her off. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of living here, sick of being treated like I'm nothing. Emma's eyes flickered to me, then back to Derek. Dad, what did you say to him? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I asked him to be respectful, I said quietly. He was lecturing me, Derek shouted. I was asking you to add cereal to the grocery list. Emma's face twisted with confusion and stress. Both of you just stop, please. Emma, my wife said, voice breaking. He hurt your father. Look at him. Emma did look. I could see the conflict in her eyes, the guilt, the fear, but she didn't move toward me. She moved toward Derek. Everyone calm down, she said. Let's take a breath. Derek grabbed her arm, gently but possessively. I'm not staying here anymore. Pack your things. We're leaving. Emma nodded. My wife's hand found mine, squeezing tight. I stood there, face burning, watching my daughter choose him. Emma, I said softly. She wouldn't look at me. Emma, please. I'm sorry, Dad, she whispered, but we need space. They left an hour later. Emma threw clothes into suitcases while Derek loaded the car. My wife tried to talk to her, tried to get her to stay, to think about what just happened. Emma just kept saying she was sorry, that they needed to figure things out on their own, that it was all just too much. Derek didn't say goodbye. He didn't apologize. He got in the driver's seat and waited, engine running, while Emma hugged my wife awkwardly and avoided my eyes. And then they were gone. My wife broke down as soon as the door closed. I held her while she sobbed, my face still stinging, my heart completely shattered. For 3 days, we didn't hear from Emma. I called, texted, left voicemails. Nothing. My wife did the same. Radio silence. On the 4th day, Emma sent a short text. We're staying with Derek's friend. We're okay. Need time. That was it. I sat in my kitchen, the same kitchen where my son-in-law had thrown coffee in my face, and I felt something shift inside me. I'd been quiet for too long. I'd let disrespect slide, let his behavior escalate, let my daughter slip away, because I didn't want to cause problems, because I wanted to be supportive, because I thought love meant staying silent, but silence hadn't protected anyone. It had only made things worse. So I made a decision. I picked up my phone and made a call. Not to Emma, not to Derek, to someone else. Someone I should have called a long time ago. The phone rang 3 times before he picked up. "Hello?" "Marcus," I said. "It's me. We need to talk." Marcus was Derek's former boss, the one who'd let him go a year and a half ago. We'd met a few times at company events back when Derek first started dating Emma. He was a straight shooter, the kind of guy who didn't sugarcoat things. "Hey," Marcus said, sounding surprised. "Long time. What's going on? I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest with me." A pause. "Okay. When you let Derek go, why exactly did you fire him?" Silence. "Marcus," he sighed. "Look, I didn't want to get into this with Emma. She seemed like a sweet girl, and I didn't think it was my place to tell me." Another sigh. "We didn't downsize. That was the story we told him so he could save face. The truth is, we fired Derek for cause." My stomach dropped. "What kind of cause?" "Multiple complaints from coworkers, harassment mostly. He had a temper, treated people beneath him like garbage. We gave him warnings, tried to work with him, but he didn't change. Final straw was when he screamed at an intern in front of the whole office, made her cry. We couldn't keep him after that." I closed my eyes. "There's more," Marcus said quietly. "After we let him go, we found out he'd been padding his expense reports. Not huge amounts, but enough that it would have been another fireable offense if we'd caught it earlier." "Why didn't you tell Emma?" "We offered to write him a neutral reference if he left quietly. He agreed. We weren't going to sabotage the guy's future. But honestly, between you and me, I'm not surprised things didn't work out for him elsewhere. Word gets around in this industry." I thanked Marcus and hung up. Then I made another call. This one to Derek's friend, the one whose couch they were supposedly crashing on. It took some searching, but I found his number through social media. His name was Kyle. Hello?" Kyle sounded confused when he answered. "Kyle, my name is Richard. I'm Emma's father. I believe my daughter and her husband are staying with you." "Oh. Yeah, they are. Is everything okay? I need to know something. Has Derek been helping with expenses while he's there? Contributing at all?" Kyle hesitated. "Not really, man. I mean, Emma gave me some cash for groceries, but Derek hasn't worked since he got here. He's been talking about some big opportunity, but..." "But what?" "Look, I don't want to cause trouble, but Derek's he's been treating my place like a hotel. Leaves messes, uses my stuff, doesn't help out." Emma seems stressed. "I was actually going to ask them to find somewhere else soon." I thanked him and hung up. Then I made one more call. This one was the most important. I called an old friend who worked in real estate. Someone I'd helped years ago when he was starting out. Someone who owed me a favor. "Richard," he answered warmly. "What can I do for you?" "I need an apartment," I said. "1 bedroom, decent area, available immediately, and I need you to hold it for someone for 30 days. "Sure, I've got a few options. Who's it for?" "My daughter." I spent the next week quietly gathering information. I didn't tell my wife everything. Not yet. I didn't want to get her hopes up, but I made calls, asked questions, connected dots. I found out Derek had been lying about job interviews. The meetings he'd been going to were actually trips to bars, to casinos, to meet friends. Emma's money, the money she'd been working herself to exhaustion for, was being spent on Derek's entertainment. I found out Derek had run up debt on a credit card in Emma's name. Nothing illegal, technically, since they were married, but thousands of dollars she didn't know about. I found out Derek's big opportunity he kept talking about was a multi-level marketing scheme. One of those things where you recruit people and sell products and promise everyone they'll get rich, but only the people at the top make any money. And I found out that Emma had been confiding in a coworker, a woman named Sarah, who my wife knew through a book club. Sarah had been worried about Emma for months, had seen the bruises on her arms that Emma explained away as clumsiness, had heard her crying in the bathroom at work. I didn't confront Derek. I didn't call Emma and tell her everything. I did something else. I called Emma's bank. I spoke to a manager I'd worked with years ago, explained the situation carefully, legally. I asked about options for protecting her accounts, about what steps she could take if she was worried about financial abuse. Then I called a lawyer. Not a divorce lawyer. Not yet. Just someone who could give me information about Emma's rights, about what she should know, about resources available to her if she decided she needed help. And then I waited. 2 weeks after the coffee incident, Emma called. "Dad?" Her voice was small, tired. "Hi, sweetheart. Can we talk?" "Of course." We met at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. She looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy bun, shoulders hunched. She sat down across from me and started crying. I didn't say anything, just handed her a napkin and waited. "I'm so sorry," she finally said. "I'm so sorry about what Derek did, about everything. I know. I should have stood up for you. I should have." She covered her face with her hands. "I don't know what's wrong with me." "Nothing's wrong with you." "Yes, there is. I let him throw coffee at you. I watched him disrespect you and Mom for months, and I made excuses. I chose him over you." "You're not the first person to be manipulated by someone they love," I said gently. "And you won't be the last." She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know what to do, Dad. I feel so stuck." "Do you love him?" She hesitated. "I don't know anymore. I think I love who he used to be, or who I thought he was. But now," she shook her head, "he's angry all the time. Nothing I do is right. He spends my money, lies about where he's going. I found out he's been talking to other women online, Dad. Just talking, he says, but it still hurts. It feels like I'm drowning, and I can't tell anyone because I'm so ashamed. I'm supposed to be smart. I'm an accountant, for God's sake. How did I let this happen?" I reached across the table and took her hand. "Because you loved him. Because you wanted to believe in him. That's not stupidity. That's humanity." She squeezed my hand tight. "I want to leave him, but I don't know how. We don't have money for another place. Kyle's kicking us out next week. And I'm so tired, Dad. I'm so tired." I pulled out a folder from my bag. "What's this?" "Information," I said. "First, there's an apartment. It's yours if you want it. 1 bedroom, good neighborhood, lease is in your name only. First month is paid." Her eyes widened. "Dad, I can't." "You can, and you will. Second, there's the number of a financial advisor. He's going to help you open new accounts that Derek doesn't have access to. You'll redirect your paycheck there. Third, there's information about that credit card debt Derek ran up. It's manageable, and we'll figure it out together." "Dad?" "Fourth," I continued, "there's the number of a therapist. She specializes in helping people recover from difficult relationships. And fifth, there's the number of a lawyer, just in case you need one." Emma stared at the folder, then at me. "When did you do all this?" "After you left. After I realized that staying quiet wasn't helping you. It was enabling the situation." "Why didn't you tell me earlier? About Derek, about what he was really like?" "Because I didn't know the full extent," I admitted. "And because I wanted you to see it yourself. If I'd tried to force you away from him, you would have just held on tighter. That's how these things work. She was crying again, but different this time. Relief, maybe. Hope. I'm scared. I know. What if he gets angry? What if he tries to? You won't be alone. Your mother and I will be there. We'll help you move. We'll make sure you're safe. And if he tries anything at all, we'll handle it. She nodded slowly, wiping her eyes. There's one more thing, I said. What? I talked to Marcus, Derek's old boss. Her face changed. And? Derek lied about why he lost his job. He was fired for harassment and theft. There was no downsizing. Emma closed her eyes. I knew. Deep down, I think I knew something was off, but I didn't want to believe it. You don't have to make any decisions right now, I said. But you do need to know the truth. All of it. So you can decide what's best for you. We sat there for a while, holding hands across the table. Finally, she said, I want the apartment. I want to leave. Okay? Will you help me? Of course. That's what I've been trying to do all along. 3 days later, I helped Emma move out while Derek was at one of his meetings. We were fast, efficient. She didn't take much, just her clothes, her documents, her personal items. We had everything in the car in under an hour. Emma left a note on the counter. It didn't say much, just that she needed space, that she'd be in touch about next steps, that he shouldn't try to contact her. We drove to her new apartment. It was small but bright, with good light and fresh paint. My wife had already stocked the fridge, put towels in the bathroom, made the bed with clean sheets. Emma cried when she saw it. You guys didn't have to do all this? Yes, my wife said firmly, hugging her. We did. That night, Derek called Emma 47 times. She didn't answer. He texted. Angry at first, then pleading, then angry again. She blocked him. He showed up at our house the next day, pounding on the door, demanding to know where Emma was. I opened the door calmly. She's safe, I said. That's all you need to know. You turned her against me. No, you did that yourself. This is your fault. You never liked me. You've been trying to break us up from the start. Derek, I said quietly, I welcomed you into my home. I fed you. I gave you a place to stay for over a year. I asked for nothing in return except basic respect, and you threw coffee in my face. He faltered. You disrespected my wife. You lied to my daughter. You spent her money, destroyed her credit, isolated her from her family. And when she needed support, you made her feel like she was the problem. I love her. No, you don't. If you loved her, you would have treated her better. You would have treated all of us better. His face crumpled. I can change. I swear I can change. Just tell me where she is. She'll contact you when she's ready. Through a lawyer, most likely. A lawyer? His eyes widened. She's divorcing me? That's her decision, not mine. He stood there looking lost and desperate and angry all at once. You're going to regret this, he said finally. The only thing I regret is not acting sooner. I closed the door. He didn't come back. Over the next few months, things slowly got better. Emma started therapy. She worked through a lot of pain, a lot of guilt. She learned that what she experienced had a name: financial abuse, emotional manipulation, coercion. She learned that she wasn't alone, that many people go through similar situations. She filed for divorce. Derek tried to fight it at first, demanded money, claimed she owed him for emotional distress. But the lawyer I'd connected her with was good, very good. The debt in Emma's name, the lies, the documentation of Derek's behavior, it all painted a clear picture. The divorce was finalized in 4 months. Emma got her name back, got her credit on a path to recovery, got her life back. She still has hard days, days where she wonders how she let things get so bad, days where she feels ashamed or scared or angry. But she's working through it, and she's not alone. My wife and I have dinner with her every week. Sometimes at our place, sometimes at hers. We talk about everything and nothing. We laugh. We plan for the future. Emma's seeing someone new. A kind man who treats her well, who listens when she talks, who respects her boundaries. It's still early, but I see the way she smiles around him, the way she's starting to trust again. As for Derek, I don't know where he ended up. I don't care to know. Some people asked me later why I didn't press charges for assault when he threw that coffee. It was a fair question. I could have, probably should have. But I realized that the best revenge wasn't legal action or public humiliation. It was simply removing him from our lives. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away. Close the door. Let someone face the consequences of their own choices without you there to cushion the fall. Derek lost a family that cared about him, a home, a wife who loved him, stability, all because he couldn't show basic decency and respect. That's consequence enough. I learned something through all of this. Silence isn't always golden. Sometimes silence is just surrender. For too long, I stayed quiet because I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought I was being supportive, being patient, giving him the benefit of the doubt. But there's a difference between patience and enabling. There's a difference between support and allowing harm. And there's a difference between keeping peace and losing yourself in the process. That phone call I made to Marcus, that decision to finally take action instead of staying silent, that changed everything. Not because it was dramatic or vengeful or violent, but because it was intentional, strategic, focused on protecting the person I loved instead of protecting a situation that was already broken. My daughter is thriving now. She got a promotion at work. She's saving money. She's planning a trip she's always wanted to take. She's rebuilding her confidence, her independence, her sense of self. And my wife and I, we have our daughter back. Not the quiet, defeated version who tiptoed around her husband's moods. The real Emma. The one who laughs too loud at bad jokes, who calls us just to chat, who shows up with flowers for no reason. The one we almost lost. Sometimes people ask me if I ever got an apology from Derek. No, I didn't, and I don't need one. His absence from our lives is apology enough. Standing in my kitchen now, drinking coffee from a new mug, I think about that moment when the hot liquid hit my face. The burn, the shock, the silence. I think about how close I came to losing my daughter forever, because I didn't speak up sooner. And I think about how one phone call, one decision to stop staying quiet, changed everything. Not just for me, for all of us. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If this story meant something to you, if it reminded you that sometimes the quietest actions have the loudest impact, I'd be grateful if you'd like and subscribe. Not for me, but because stories like this need to be heard. People need to know they're not alone. They need to know that standing up for yourself and the people you love isn't selfish. It's necessary. Take care of yourselves. And remember, silence isn't always the answer. Sometimes, one call is all it takes to change everything.